Welcome back, everyone. Well, today we're going to take a look at the power plant that we're going to put in this 51 shoebox. We're going to look it over real good, tear it apart, and try to figure out just exactly what we've got. I've managed to track down a Ford motor for it. This is a 302 from a 91 Mustang. Seems to be all there. It's got all the EFI stuff, it's got the wiring harness and all that stuff, so I could probably take a lot of that and put it online and sell it. So that'll be good. I'll be able to get some extra money out of this. But yeah, 302. But what came with it was a C4 transmission with the transmission cooler. So that was a pretty good deal. It also came with the torque converter sitting over there. So that was pretty awesome. Seems to be in good working order. I think this is from 70s model something. That's what the date codes come back as. So we'll look into that a little bit deeper, but it seems to be all there. And I got the motor and the transmission for 500 bucks. So that was a steal. So I've got to get this out of the truck, but the plan for this is to tear it all down and turn it into a naturally aspirated engine. I don't know anything about the fuel injection. I don't even want to mess with it. I don't want to have to deal with the wiring and the computers and all that stuff, so I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible and then get it tore down. We'll put some performance parts on there, put some headers on there. I'd like to throw a camshaft in there. I don't really want to rebuild the engine. You know, bare minimum, we'll paint it for sure, get it looking good, but I don't want to have to tear into it. We'll take the oil pan off and check inside and make sure everything's functioning just fine. But for the most part, from what I know about this should be a pretty solid motor, and the transmission as well. So we'll get this on the hoist, get it on the engine stand, and go ahead and start tearing it apart and see what we've got. All right, go ahead. All right, well, there you have it. The motor is in the garage. That was actually pretty simple. The help of my son, a little bit of engineering goes a long way. So it was so sweet. The lady I got this motor from, I ended up forgetting the flex plate, and she just brought it back to me, gave it back to me. So that was very sweet of her. She didn't have to do that. But it's people like that that really make the world go round. With the Thunderbird motor pushed aside temporarily, I went ahead and got the motor for the 51 bolted up to the engine stand, and this is what's going to go in it. But the plan here is to just tear off the top end, just take it down to the block really, but I'm going to leave all the bottom end in it. I'm not going to worry whatsoever. I'm not even going to look at the bottom end, which might be a mistake in the long run, but we're just going to change out the top end, make it naturally aspirated. But yeah, so I need to get down here, I need to research these numbers, make sure we got what we think we have, and then can kind of go from there. But the goal is to go ahead and tear all this down, get it to the block, make sure we have the right motor, and then we'll start building the top end. But I got a lot of research to do. Well, I'm looking into this thing, and I started here with these manifold numbers, exhaust manifold numbers, and it pulls up something a little bit earlier. So I'm looking for the ID numbers on the block, and I have yet to locate them. However, I am starting to notice some things that tell me just exactly what year. I don't know if you can read that, but the date on there is 6/5/1987. So the exhaust manifold numbers tell me that it's anywhere from an 86 to a 1990. Still got some searching to do, and so it continues. So first things being first, I should probably check to make sure this thing actually turns over. I didn't get a chance to check it. I just picked it up from this sweet old lady out of town, and it was, hey, all right. So that turns pretty easy. And obviously the spark plugs are in, got some compression, so that's good. It doesn't look so bad, to tell you the truth. So I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing this thing down, tear this front off, just the entire top end and the pulleys and everything. Then we'll flip it over and take the oil pan off and take a look on the inside. But in the process, you know, I'm bound to find some numbers. But first I need to go ahead and start spraying this stuff, lubing it up so that I can actually break these bolts apart. I hope this motor's good. I think we're going to use it no matter what, but hopefully we'll get this intake off, get these valve covers off, look at the heads real good. The valves on the exhaust side didn't look bad at all, so that's good. No broken valves like the Thunderbird. Third time's a charm. We'll bring you in here just to take a quick look. Obviously I need to get this cleaned up. There's a lot of gunk and everything. I probably should have cleaned that up first, but we're at where we're at. It looks pretty clean. I mean, I really can't see anything wrong with it. It does look pretty good. Hasn't been oiled in a while for sure. Hasn't been run, but I mean, there's no rust, there's no nothing. Everything looks really pretty good up to this point, so we're gonna go with it. Hope the luck continues. Working on getting the front end off here. You can see I got the water pump off, I got the pulleys and the harmonic balancer off. That was relatively easy. Having a hard time with this timing chain cover. So I took the oil pan off, as you can see. I'm getting ready to flip this over and take a look on the inside. Get a good look at the internals. You can see it's a rear sump. So I need to get the timing chain off because I ordered all my parts. But I need to order the timing chain itself and the pulleys and all that. I guess there's two different styles of cam gear pulley. One is a one-piece eccentric, the other is a two-piece eccentric, which I think is really kind of weird because, I mean, the only way that that's going to matter, as I understand it, is if it's a mechanical fuel pump, but there's no hole for the mechanism. So, I mean, that's solid. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I need to go ahead and get this opened up and... Oh, there we go. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and flip this over, take a look at the inside, look at the crank and the pistons and the rods and all that stuff. All right, looking inside here, it looks pretty clean. I mean, everything's nice and oiled and, you know, looks pretty standard. No surprises. That looks good. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the walls in here. I'm sure you can't see that any better than I can, but the walls look pretty good. I'll go ahead and spin this thing around and take a closer look, but everything looks pretty good so far, no surprises. Yeah, so we'll get this apart. As you can see, that makes it a two-piece. Look at that chain, geez. Definitely need a new one. Yeah, but anyway, that makes it a two-piece eccentric, so that's what I'll go ahead and order and get everything ordered and on the way. Got an 87 block. It's a E7TE, so that makes it an 87-302. And from my research out of the factory, it came with 225 horsepower around 300 pounds of torque. It's not a race motor, it's just something to go in the 51, have a good time with it, you know, get it ready for somebody else. But that's the plan. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my order in. Hopefully we'll have the stuff this week. Pretty much the final point of inspection. Everything else looks pretty good, but I'm getting ready to peel these valve covers off, and we'll take a look at the rockers and the heads in general and just see how bad it is. Valve covers look pretty clean, so that's good. And upon inspection here, I mean, everything looks all right, but we're gonna get these rockers off here. Springs look all right. I mean, can't really tell a whole lot unless you peel the heads off, but I'm not gonna do that actually. Everything looks good over here. There's a couple carbon deposits and things like a standard engine would have, but I mean, everything looks pretty clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. But we'll get these rockers off here and just kind of take a closer look. I was looking at the, you can't really see, but I was looking inside the springs and everything, and the, maybe see that one right there. But anyway, the valve seals all look to be in pretty good shape, so that's good news. That means I don't really have to take the heads apart. That's a roller lifter. We've got a roller cam in here. So that's pretty awesome. So what I'm gonna do instead of taking it out and replacing it is just leave it in there. I'll be able to take a look with a flashlight and make sure everything looks okay with the cam itself. But I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it in there. Gonna pretty much just put it all back together. All I need to do is put the intake on, and then the timing chain and water pump. That's pretty much it, and it's ready to go. I am gonna go ahead and tape all this off. I'm gonna get it cleaned up real good, degreased, try to scrape off as much of the gunk as I possibly can. And then I'm gonna go ahead and paint it. And then hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday, all my parts should arrive, and I'll be able to just throw it together pretty quick, and it's ready to go. Transmission, it's pretty much ready, I'm assuming. I think it's probably gonna be okay. A day later, I got the top end taped off. I still need to do the front here. I'm gonna get the oil pan put on to seal that up. I really probably should have done this while it was all sealed up in the first place. But we're at where we're at. I've got degreaser on this whole thing. I've let it kind of cook overnight so that I can get this thing cleaned up, then get it primed and painted. Now this is what I love coming home to. Total care package from Summit Racing. The finished product, quote unquote finished product, after hours of degreasing and getting this thing, getting all the mud and dirt and everything that was caked on this off as much as I possibly could. This is the final result. Looks pretty good. It's not perfect. There's some areas, you can't really see that. There's some areas that, you know, aren't perfect, you know, inside some of these nooks and crannies and whatnot that we'll just call it part of the casting, but really it's dirt. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for paint. What we're gonna be using is, got this VHT engine enamel. It's good up to 550 degrees. This is just the primer, so we'll primer it, a couple coats, and then we'll use this red. We'll paint the engine red. Again, good up to 550 degrees. Well, here's the end result after the paint. And in this light, it looks orange. It looks like a Chevy orange or something, but it's red for sure. I've got it cleaned up for the most part. I've still got to hit some of these gasket faces and whatnot, get them really super clean, but it came out pretty good. Looks really good. I still need to deal with the oil pan. I need to take that off and paint it. I've got the oil filter on there, but it came out really good. Looks really good. I've got the timing chain cover sitting outside drying right now, so I need to go ahead and get these push rods put back in. Got brand new ones. Then we can go ahead and start working on this top end. Got the valve covers, got the intake manifold, got the distributor. I need to try that out. Sitting over there right now, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work or not. But we can get the timing chain on and everything. Let's build this thing. Now here comes the intake. All bolts start at 10 foot-pounds, and we'll go to 15, and then I think we finish on 25. As you can see, I've got the motor pretty much wrapped up. I've got all the water pump and the pulleys and distributor set in there just temporarily. Got the headers on it, so it's looking pretty good. I still have to put the oil pan on, but it's sitting right out there. It's all painted up, ready to go. So I just got to get that on there real quick. Then I'm pretty much done with the motor. I do have to rob some stuff off of the Thunderbird engine. So namely the alternator, and see if that fits on here. And then I need a 1-inch carb spacer for the carburetor, but that should pretty much do it. And then afterwards I can go ahead and get started on the transmission. Gonna paint that up, make it look real nice. We'll put all this stuff to good use and put it all together, make sure it fits just fine. I've got the starter ready to go in as well. Then we can go ahead and get this thing, get the motor set in here. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with the motor mounts, because those are going to be kind of a trick. I was doing some measurements and I don't know, it's going to sit in here kind of funky, but I think I can figure it out and make it work. I need to get this thing cleaned up real bad. This is just years and years of mud and dirt caked in here, so probably take and roll this out into the driveway, hit it with the pressure washer, try to get as much of this gunk off here as possible, and then yeah, start working on front end here, get the motor placed, motor mounts welded in, whatever I need to do, and then take it back out, get all this stuff painted up, make it look real nice. Then we get started on some body work.